Hello, welcome back to the Locker Room Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Oliver, and I am joined by Sharpie.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
no, yeah, this week.
No, that was stupid. I don't know what I was doing there.
Oh, I liked it. It's quite entertaining. It's been a big week in free agency, to say
Yeah.
the least. Not for my OKC Thunder, but we'll get to that later on. We'll start from the top. Atlanta Hawks. They've made haven't made transactions for players at least, but they've kept their two probably biggest players. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I like them keeping Trey Young. Obviously averaged 29 points, 9 assists in the playoff. This contract won't kick in till 2022-23. I think it's around 5 years, $207 million. So that's a good deal. I think he's earned that. I'm assuming there's going to be some, other things in there that give him more money. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, incentives, that's the word I'm looking for, my bad. John Collins also 5 year, $125 million extension. I think he was waiting out for something bigger, maybe around the 200. But I think it's probably best just to get it over and done with.
I
Maybe
don't
look
think
for a bigger contract down the road.
I don't think anyone was going to offer him that much, to be honest. I mean, he's a
Oh,
good player, but I don't think he's shown enough to be 180 mil plus, 170 mil plus player. I don't think he can be an all-star, but whether he gets that much money, in my opinion.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's not on the level of Trey Young, but for what he brings to the table defensively, I think he can earn a bit more than $125 million.
I mean, I thought you were a Trey Young hater, to be honest.
I'm not a Trey Young hater. I'm a fan of how Atlanta built their team around Trey Young.
Yes, I don't like Trey Young one bit, but he's earned the money, as much as I hate to say it. And he's got a perfect fit with, well, not only John Collins, but Clint Capella as well. He's an absolute, I love Clint Capella. He's one player I do like for them. But one player they kept who said that, who thought about retiring last season and then had this run, Lou Williams.
Yeah, this morning that came out.
That's quite surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, I was expecting them because they obviously drafted Sharif Cooper last week. So I was expecting him to be a backup for Trey Young, but now they've brought in brought back Lou Will. I think that's a great move. Obviously,
It's
there's still heaps of a player in there. It's not like he's like a clamp god or anything. He's just a player that comes off the bench and does well. So
I know there probably wasn't any links to it, but I'm surprised the Lakers didn't try and get him on a vet minimum or something.
yeah, that would have been interesting. That would have been might as well. They've already got all the other vets in the league. So
Uh, but I don't know if it makes. I don't know if the Hawks can go as far as they did last season. I think the East is getting pretty stacked. So
the thing is also with this, like with the foul change as well, with the people like jump with the non-correct uh jump shot action.
yeah,
I think
non-basketball moves. Yeah.
thank you there. It's with me today. Um, I think even though that's going to be limited out, and obviously that's how Trey Young gets most of his shots in, there's still a player there that can get 25 a night without the free throw line. Like he's still a great scorer from outside the arc, and he also can get to the basket well. So obviously not dunking, but
There's many reasons why I hope Trey Young doesn't average 25 points next season. But
and I think I know one of the reasons.
yeah,
we'll keep
well,
we'll keep
yeah,
that quiet.
yeah, keep that quiet until next season. Um, so I think they'll be a sixth seed. Luckily, maybe a fifth seed if they have a really good season, but I don't see them getting home court advantage with that team. I think everyone, Trey Young, like you said, the foul calls are going to have a big impact on them.
Yeah.
The next team, big team in the East, obviously, the Nets. They've retained two of their key players in Bruce Brown and Blake Griffin, but they've brought in James Johnson, who is a bit of a travel man, but he's not a bad player to have on your team. And of course, the Aussie Paddy Mills. I like that deal, but
Yeah,
I
I'm a
don't
fan of
like the
it too.
Nets.
I'm a fan of Patty Mills, especially Obviously watching the Olympics, he's a great player. He's still obviously a great player at Spurs. I think this is a good move for the Nets. Obviously, last year or last season there were a few injuries with Harden and Kyrie, so I think it's going to be great backup for those two. Obviously Blake Griffin returning as well. What he came in to do last year, uh, obviously leaving Detroit to go there, people didn't expect him to be the old Blake Griffin. He wasn't as much as the old Blake Griffin, but he was still scoring 18 points a night, grabbing heaps of rebounds and stuff. So
They fleeced the Pistons in that deal.
I think
Once he
Blake fleeced the
left them, he
Pistons.
started playing well again.
Yeah.
But
The thing is, I think he had a lot of time to help his body rest because he was on the bench most of the time, not playing. So.
yeah, true. Doing the Kawhi Leonard. But you're a new net supporter, aren't you? They got a player by the name of Sharp on their team.
Oh, Dayron.
You'll be getting his jersey, won't you?
Yeah, look, probably not the Nets jersey. So no.
Just wait for him to get traded to the Knicks. I think that's
Yeah.
a
I
good
think
point.
that's the only possibility.
But I think the Nets they've got to be favourites going into next season, if not
Yeah.
second favourite. But
Yeah.
I don't think it changes much for them, really. Just a little bit more depth. The next team, Bulls. Shout out to Slug, who big Bulls fan. How do you rate their off season so far?
The team looks good on paper. Probably 8 out of 10 so far. Depending on what else they can bring in. They obviously don't have much cap space left. I reckon the move of Lonzo for $85 million was really good considering the market these days. With every player just getting huge deals. So
Lonzo or DeMar? Because I don't know if they're on the same deal. I don't know Lonzo's contract.
I think Lonzo's on a 4-year 85 and DeRozan's on a 3-year 85.
Because that's one thing I don't like DeMar's contract. He's a good player. I like how the Bulls brought in Lonzo and Caruso and OKC legend Tony Bradley. But DeMar, 3 years, 85 mil. I mean, who's going to handle the ball? Like, you got Ball, you got Levine, now you got DeMar. I mean, DeMar is a good player, but he's very similar. And if Billy Donovan can figure out that team, will be really good. And I really like Vucevic, but I don't know how that team operates on offense. It's stacked, but on defense, you're basically relying on Caruso, Patrick Williams being a really good defender, and Lonzo Ball. He can defend. People hype him up a bit about his defending, but I don't know if that's going to be enough on defense, to be honest.
I think DeRozan's kind of regressing defensively.
Yeah,
because I don't know, not because of his age. It's just I don't know, he's just not as good.
it was definitely a good free agency for him. They needed to make it a destination people want to go to again.
Yeah,
but
Mark Eversley and Arturas Karnisovas did really well to bring in those types of players, and obviously making the Vucevic trade earlier on in the year, building a foundation for what could be a potential playoff appearance from the Bulls this year. So,
well, I think I do, as much as I've slated them, I do think the Bulls need to make the playoffs this year, and I think they will. I think they'll get the 6th seed. I think they'll go one better than the Hawks, which is probably a big statement. I don't know if they'll go further in the playoffs, but I think they'll finish above the Hawks, which
I reckon it'll be also good for Zach LaVine because he doesn't really do much winning in his career. I read a stat last night that when America beat the Boomers, unfortunately, Zach LaVine is now on his longest win streak, and that's 4 games since he played at UCLA in 2013.
That's a bit embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. But then again,
he's been on the Timberwolves and the Bulls, so
bit similar in our sporting careers, Sharpie.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Currently.
What do you mean? I haven't lost in ages.
No cheap shots. The next one, it's not really much to talk about for the team, but the Cavs offering Jarrett Allen 5 years, 100 million. I think they're going the wrong direction, to be honest. If with how basketball's going, everyone's wanting a stretch five, a player that can do it all at center. You can at least shoot a mid range. Yet you're going to throw Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, who I don't know much about Mobley, but apparently has a bit of an outside game. But if you got two big centers that can't really stretch the floor, I mean, I feel like they're going in the wrong direction. But
I think, I think Jared Allen has taken a few threes before. I
uh,
think he can, I think he can shoot the three. I don't know his percentage, but no, I think 5 years, 100 mil it was good for him. You know, averaged 12 points, 10 rebounds last season. I think there's a lot of room for him to grow. Obviously, I think obviously more on the offensive end now. He's obviously a great shot blocker and a great rebounder. So I think him and Mobley also going to be locking down players everywhere because of Mobley's perimeter defense. But I'm liking the young core that they've got in Cleveland. I think so. The potential lineup for them next season was Jared Allen, Mobley, Isaac Okoro, Garland, and Sexton.
Sexton needs to leave.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There were like whether Cleveland get rid of him or not.
Who wants him
Maybe
though?
yeah. Well, his market wouldn't be that. His market wouldn't be that big or like small. So I think I don't know. Maybe Simmons.
Yeah, we'll get to that soon enough. But I do like Jared Allen as a player. I just don't like how the Cavs have handled like I look at that team and I don't see a great deal of shooting. It's a lot of I'd like it if it was back in the 1990s where it was all drive to the rim and throw it up to a big man. But I mean, sadly, those days are gone. I miss the post players, but that's my opinion. I think the Cavs have got to be better this year, whether they get rid of Sexton or not. I think they need to be sniffing around at least the play in. I don't reckon they will.
No, I reckon it's another year of the lottery.
Yes, sadly. I mean, I say sadly. They were only good when they had Dellavedova, so and that's the only reason why they were good. The next team, a team I really like, probably one of my favorite teams other than OKC, only because of their guard in Doncic, is the Mavs. They've mainly retained a lot of their players, offering Tim Hardaway Jr. 4 years, 74 mil, which I think is a really good deal. And they got Bullock from your beloved Knicks, which is a great fit for Mavs. What do you think of their off season so far, though?
Yeah, it's good. They've brought in a lot of wing defenders. I say a lot, only two, but they kept Tim Hardaway as well. They brought in Sterling Brown, who's an underrated defender. So I reckon that's good. Reggie Bullock, obviously being a Knicks fan, that's obviously sad. He's a great 3-and-D player, probably one of our best perimeter defenders last season. So, I think 3 years, $30 million, that's a good deal for someone like him.
It would be interesting to see. I think they opened up so much cap space hoping to get someone like Lowry. Since I thought even they might have gone for Kemba at some stage, but I think at this stage, I would not be surprised if they start talking with the Raptors to try and get Dragic, because I think he'd be a good fit. It's obviously, Slovenian with Doncic, another ball handler. It's what they need.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good fit.
Also, they brought back Boban. So
Fan favorite.
Mavs have a plethora of centers. They've got Boban, Willie Cauley-Stein, which you count Porzingis as a center, probably.
And then big man.
They've got your boy Moses Brown.
Yeah, let's not talk. Hopefully, OKC can bring him back. Maybe they'll be like Dallas will be like, "Oh, we've got too many centers."
That's a lot of rebounding.
They'll run out that Denver Nugget lineup where they had just 7-footers everywhere. Paul Millsap is the smallest player. I don't know if the Mavs. I mean, I heard Jason Kidd on ESPN say that he wants Porzingis to play like he was playing in the Knicks, and if that happens, that's going to be, I can't wait to watch that because Figi starts going to the post again and abusing the smaller defense. It will be great to watch. And I think the Mavs will be a lot better.
I just don't think
But
he has the frame to go to the post.
I don't think he wants to either. I don't think he likes getting pushed around in the post because he's so big, but doesn't look like he's got much behind him. If he's going up against another big center, I don't think he likes crashing bodies and everything.
Yeah.
From what I'm witnessing, at least.
Mm.
So hopefully they can make it out of the first round. Just don't give them the freaking Clippers again.
Oh god. I think Doncic is going to be angry because of Batum.
Yeah,
I think he's going to want to get his revenge on Batum.
Yeah, that was upsetting watching that last night. Very upsetting. Warriors, Curry, 4 year. Is it a max deal?
I think 4 year, $215 million.
So is the first player ever to sign 2 max contracts? Is that right?
Yeah, it's his second $200 million contract. I think in his final season, he's going to earn $59 million.
Jesus.
The final year of that contract, though.
That's ridiculous. He deserves it, and I think
yeah.
the Warriors need to use him, put a team around him while they can. They got Otto Porter Jr. 1 year deal, which is he's not a bad player. I don't mind him, but the one I've always liked, Nemanja Bjelica, played at the Kings a couple of years ago. I feel like he's a good fit for Warriors because he's a big body. He's not very mobile, but he can shoot the ball well. I don't know what he was shooting, but last season, but he's a very good stretch of the floor. I like that fit, but
yeah, obviously they're going to need shooting and sort of defending because Clay won't be back till December, so that's going to be big for them. Obviously, with Kuminga coming through, maybe the way he's been playing in summer league so far, I think they've got someone there to fit the Clay role for now.
I don't think their off season's done yet. I think they're making a move for Simmons.
Yeah, I did read something about them trying to get Ben Simmons. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to the Sixers eventually. He will come and we'll talk more about Simmons. But I think they're going to offer up to the rookies, or they're going to have to do something. But then again, the Sixers want a guard, so you can't really.
Nicomanian.
Yeah.
Oh, they got Tyrese Maxey still.
Yeah, they got Tyrese Maxey. That's true, but it'll be interesting. I think the Warriors are probably the biggest threat to the Lakers in the West.
Yeah,
you got Clippers and you got all these other really good teams, but I think the
obviously you got Phoenix as well.
Yeah, well, that leads us into the next name, which is the Lakers. Who haven't they signed on a vet minimum or a minimum deal?
Vets and more vets. That was their off-season plan.
I'll list the transaction. I'll list who they got. So they got Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, who played terrible for the Heat last season, or last series against the Bucks. Malik Monk, Wayne Ellington, who is a GOAT. I love Wayne Ellington. Maybe not this season though. Kent Bazemore, Kendrick Nunn, and they re-signed Taylor Horton Tucker. I mean, that's an old team.
Yeah, well, it is an old team, but they've also got the young players in there with Nunn, Monk, and obviously Horton Tucker. But they've got Mac McClung there as well, who's obviously not going to probably see a light of day in the Lakers team, but in the G League, he's like in the summer league so far, he's looking really good. So they've got players there for when all these people go. So I'm liking. I like what the Lakers did. I want to see Melo win a ring, obviously.
I don't want to see the Lakers
come back
win.
to the Knicks next year.
I don't want the Lakers to win a ring.
I'd rather see them win a ring than the Nets. So.
No, I'd rather see KD beat LeBron. To be honest, I'd rather see LeBron fall out in the conference finals or something. That would be hilarious with the team that he's got.
Yeah, but you got 3 Knicks legends though. You got Melo, Ellington, and Bazemore. You want to see those 3 win a ring?
I don't. I like Ellington, but
I think Ariza as well.
Yeah, Ariza, Knicks legend. OKC legend. Never played a game, but he's an OKC legend.
Forget.
The Lakers are on the up with that. I think they're obviously favorites behind the Nets. I don't want to see them win, but look, it's going to be pretty inevitable that they're gonna make the finals.
It's gonna be because of their age and everything. I don't know, like they're not gonna be playing at a higher level every game. But like and defensively also, like you've just got AD and Dwight. That's it really. And
Well,
maybe some of LeBron left.
I have all this hate towards LeBron, but let's be honest, in a couple of years, OKC are probably going to draft his son, and then LeBron's going to come to OKC. So maybe I need to start preparing myself to like him, but I don't know if I can
LeBron
do
will
that.
come in there and trade everyone.
Yeah, if
The GM.
if he starts trading Poku and Josh Giddey, I'll cry. But
No, they'll be in China. Not Giddy, but Poku will be in China.
oh, yeah, come on now. He's having a breakout season this year. The next team, the Heat. Now, you could class that they won the offseason so far by getting probably the most wanted free agent in Kyle Lowry, or the most wanted that was accessible in Lowry. They made some big deals with obviously Butler getting a max. I don't like that contract one bit. Good player, but I don't like it. Duncan Robinson 5-year extension, that good deal. But the one I probably think is the most important is Oladipo coming back on a 1-year deal. People forget how good he was when he isn't injured and he's on a 1-year deal with the Heat. What are your thoughts on the Heat?
Yeah, well, obviously Duncan Robinson signing the highest contract ever for an undrafted player of 5 years, 90 million. So that's good for him. He's grown as a player, obviously over the last 2 years. He can shoot the ball really well. So that's what a lot of teams want, is just people that can shoot the ball really. PJ Tucker, 2-year, $15 million. I like that. I think you're after winning a championship then to leave, and especially after saying that you wanted to stay because all your dogs are here.
They got a bunch of dogs
here. Yeah. I think that's a bit weird, but it's a good move for him because he'll just shoot the ball. And obviously you saw how you can't say he locked KD because no one can. But he defended him well. Obviously, and bringing in a couple of good vets as well, maybe Markieff Morris, and Dwayne Dedman, I think.
Yeah, they got Dedman.
I actually might see Tyler Hero come if he comes off the bench this season. Maybe he might be some sort of a 6-man of the year type of player. So
it's definitely interesting. Do you think I don't rate this team that highly? Like they finished what I think 7th seed last year, maybe, or 6th seed. I think
sixth, 5th or
seed.
6th.
Yeah, they avoided the play-in. They finished 6th behind Atlanta. I don't think that they will finish probably a bit higher in the season, but I think once playoffs come, I still don't see them competing with any of the other teams. I mean, they just got swept by the Bucks. I don't think really Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker and Oladipo returning. I think you get out of the first round, but you come up against the Bucks or the Nets. I don't really think it's going to be much of a fight, personally. But then again, I might just be a Miami Heat hater.
Yeah, it's probably I see him as probably a 2nd-round exit, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the next team hasn't made playoffs for I think 2 or 3 years. The Pelicans, obviously getting rid of Lonzo for Satoransky and Temple and a couple picks. I don't know how to feel about this team. They got obviously Devontae Graham, but they had to give up, I think it was a lottery protected 1st-round pick.
Yeah, I think it was the Lakers 2022 1st-round protected. I think it was the top 10 protected, maybe.
Yeah, do you like the layout of the team? I've heard rumors that they want to play Zion more of a point forward, which they looked better when they did do that. But I think Lonzo was such a perfect fit with them, with his passing to Zion. But
I don't even know who's going to be the defensive leader in that team. Garrett Temple.
Got rid of Stephen Adams, OKC
Yeah.
legend, obviously.
They got brought in Valanciunas. I haven't really seen much of him defensively. I know he's a great rebounder, but as a shot block, I'm not really familiar with him. They brought in Didi Ludoza from the Sydney Kings, who's apparently a great defender. So there might be something there. I don't know what the Pelicans are doing here. They drafted Zion, but they have not treated him like the star that obviously he's the number one pick. You bring in players to surround him straight away. And they have not done that at all.
They just keep changing the coaches every year. I mean,
Mm.
Zion's had 3 coaches in 3 years, but I didn't LeBron say something about that when he was at the Cavs. David Griffin just didn't treat him right or something like that. And David Griffin's now the GM of
GM.
Pelicans. So, I mean,
Yeah.
OKC signing Zion after his rookie contract, let's be honest.
Yeah, true. Yeah, can't forget about that.
Yeah. We've got all the cap space. Oh, maybe not now that we've got SGA on a max, but I don't see the Pelicans making the play. They might make a play in. They might get the 10th seed, but that West is stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, both conferences
I think
are stacked.
East, yeah, both conferences are stacked. So
the next team, the Sixers, I mean, they haven't made moves, which is probably the biggest talk, not moving on from Simmons. We'll get to that after the players that they've brought back is Green and Korkmaz, but they brought in Andre Drummond for a 1-year deal.
yeah, that's gonna be funny. Him and Embiid
living rent free in his head. Now he wants to live rent free in Joel Embiid's house.
Especially with all the bricks that Embiid puts up. So.
Well, imagine if him and Simmons are playing on the same team. Geez, Joel Embiid will be carrying those bricks. But I don't really think there's much to talk about there, but I think it's all about Simmons. Apparently, Joel Embiid's tried to call him and Simmons has basically ghosted him, which is not a really... I understand where Simmons is kind of coming from after those comments Embiid and Doc Rivers made after the exit to the Hawks, but I mean, it's a bit childish and it's not a good look for him, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing to see Simmons doing that stuff. Obviously, he gets memed all the time by me, especially. He's going through a lot at the moment, I'm assuming, so can't.
Should have played in the Olympics. Could have guarded Kevin Durant for us.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I reckon him playing in the Olympics would have done well for him. Especially being around a bunch of like hometown people and stuff.
And it's a moved in 3-point line, so I mean, he could have been.
It's all more about. I think it's more about him with the shooting and that. I think it's just him being around a new bunch of people and seeing if he likes them. He's obviously he would have had his teammate there, Matisse Thybulle. So,
but I think as an Australian, I would much rather see him play and at least trying to shoot outside shots for Australia. Even if they don't go in, at least he's trying to shoot them. I'd much rather see that than him not play at all.
I would have liked to have seen him there on the defensive end because in the game against America yesterday, there wasn't much defending going on. So.
I mean, I think I heard one of the commentators say that one of our players, I think it was Nick Kay, was shooting 23% from 3, yet he kept shooting. I mean, it would have been good to see Simmons do that. Just doesn't care what the percentages is. But I mean, Sixers are in a bit of trouble if they don't move on from Simmons, because I don't think he's coming back to training camp. I think he's going to want to force his way out before then.
Yeah, obviously with that potential Warriors move up in the air.
He needs to leave, and I don't know who's going to offer. I thought maybe OKC, obviously, I'm going to keep talking about them, but I thought they had an outside chance if they offered Kemba Walker in some sort of way, but obviously
they could have. I think they want two players and four first rounders. So I think maybe OKC could have probably offered him something good
We
there.
could have done that.
They could have offered SGA and then traded out of the draft, but then you would have just had Simmons there with no one.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the Sixers, I can't really see where they're going to finish next season until this whole Simmons dilemma actually unfolds.
Mm.
So we'll leave it at that for the Sixers because I hate talking about them. The Suns are next, obviously coming off the back of making the finals, CP3. Before we get any other transactions, 4-year deal, 120 mil. Thoughts?
Well, there goes him winning a championship. Um,
I agree.
That's a big contract. I'm pretty sure the 4th year is a player option, but that's a big contract, especially for something like he surpassed the veteran like the veteran max you can offer someone. So I think it's a good move for him. He's obviously helped out Booker a lot last season. He's a real leader in the team. So,
I don't think the Suns make it past the second round next season, though. They got a bit lucky. As much as I like the Suns, I mean, I like Chris Paul and he's definitely earned his money. I mean, apparently the Pelicans offered him a similar deal and he contemplated that, but
I did read that, yeah.
But it'll be interesting. His legacy's it'll be obviously improved if he wins a chip, but I think everyone already knows how good he is. I think it's a bit like Carmelo, except Chris Paul hasn't had a drop off like that.
And also brought back campaign.
Yes, 3 years, 19 mil. That's bargain. That's a bag of chips there.
I would have thought that his market would have gone in the $60 million range. Someone like Cameron Payne. But to bring him back on a 3-year, $19 million deal, that's a great move from them.
And they've brought another OKC legend back, Abdel Nader. Injured most of the year, but he is a good player and I like how he plays. So, I mean, he's a good defender. He's a good player. I just like him.
Move that I really liked from Phoenix was bringing in JaVale McGee. I reckon last year you looked in the finals how they struggled a lot defensively without Ayton on the court because they didn't really have a true rebounder in that team. I think with Kaminsky getting injured, they were pretty short at center. Was it Kaminsky?
It was Darius.
No, sorry. Yeah, well, there's another center.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I think a better fit for them would have been bringing back the Postmaster Baines.
Well, they can now. He's
cleared the waivers. They should bring him back. I mean, he had a game where he scored 36 points and 12 rebounds, shoots the 3, setting those shadow realm screens. I mean,
those physical tone setters, you can't forget about.
Yeah, plays defense. I mean, it's just
leads
a
the team off the
no-brainer.
bench at quarter time.
Yeah, exactly. And he does the important things like that. He's leadership. He's a better leader than Chris Paul. Let's all be honest.
No, they're going to bring in their leader now because apparently there's rumors going around that they are actually trying to bring in Alfred Payton. Which
if you pass up Aaron Baines to bring in Alfred Payton, I think you just want your team to lose.
I don't know what you're getting in. I don't know what you're getting in a play with Alfred Payton after 2 years of watching him at the Knicks, and it was painful to watch him play at the Knicks. I don't know why a team like Phoenix, who's better than us, would want to bring him in. It just makes no sense.
And you got campaign. I mean, how many guards? And they got Landry Shamet. Did they get Landry Shamet? I think they got Landry Shamet. I'm pretty sure for Javion Carter to the Nets.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why they need more guards if they're going after Alfred Payton. I mean, he can provide a bit of defense. I haven't watched much of the Knicks.
No, he cannot.
He cannot defend anymore. Okay, well there we go.
Can't defend at all.
I'm wrong.
He's got tunnel vision. Wrong. He can't finish at the rim. He can't shoot. Can't do anything.
Well, there's Sharpie's little venting session for the week.
Yeah.
And we haven't even got onto the Knicks.
Get him out of there. Thank you, Phoenix.
The Blazers, not much really to talk about here. They signed Powell for 5 years, which I think is good for them. They bought in a fan favorite in Code Z for a year and another fan favorite in Tony Snell. I think you're bringing in two fan favorites. You're keeping Damian Lillard.
Yeah, yeah. Lillard's staying now. The
Based off them.
Snelligan and Code Z.
Yeah, the big Snellican Pelican.
Another
What a-
move I like is when is obviously re-signing of Norman Powell. 5 years, 90 million. That's a great contract for him.
Lillard wants out though.
Yeah, probably.
He has to leave. He said, I think he's gone on record saying that if they don't make changes to the team, he'll want to leave. And really, what changes has he made? You brought in two fan favorites, but
That's pretty much it. Like he wants to talk contracts now with Blazers. He wants to sign another 5-year deal. He wants to stay.
I mean,
Obviously, you're gonna get that Stephen A. bullshit like during the week. Like, oh, if Lillard wants to,
Knicks.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
Even if he went to the Knicks, what does that do for the Knicks? That gives up their future, whatever future they have, for a season where they might reach the Eastern Conference Finals if they're lucky. I still wouldn't see them making out of the second round personally if they had Lillard, but
it's just stupid.
But Stephen A. Smith is a lifelong Knicks fan, but apparently wants the Lakers to win, and let's not get started
changes his opinion every 5 seconds.
Yeah, let's not get
still. Yeah,
he's a bit of a. Anyway, Jazz. Mike Conley, a 3-year deal. That I can't remember the amount of money, but I think it was a bargain.
3 years, 68 million.
That's a bargain for how important he is to that team.
He's an all-star now, so.
Well, he was injured last year in the playoffs, wasn't he? I think he had injury in a couple of games. I don't know if he played much of the Clippers series. I know he was injured, but he's just as important as any other player on that team, other than Joe Ingles. But
yeah, exactly. I think he averaged 16.6 assists last season.
And they brought in Rudy Gay, Hassan Whiteside, and Pascal from however you say it, from Warriors.
Eric Paschall, yeah.
I like Rudy Gay coming in. It's interesting with Whiteside coming in. He's just got another 7-footer that can't shoot.
Yeah, well, obviously, the only person who does the scoring on that team is Donovan Mitchell. So I think that's a good pickup, a good backup option for Gobert. Eric Paschall as well. Getting him for absolute pennies, a second round pick.
That's ridiculous.
If you did not see him, and not last season, but the season before when the Warriors had
no one,
he stepped in. I think it was his rookie year and played unreal for them. So
yeah, his value went down pretty quickly, didn't it?
Well, because he wasn't getting much game time, so that's probably why. But
yeah,
I think it's a good move for him. Maybe he can. I think they lost. Who's that say you picked up from the Jazz?
Derek Favors.
Yeah, I think he's going to fit the Derek Favors
contract.
Well. Yeah,
sadly.
I forgot you've got Derek Favors. I couldn't remember his name.
I think they'll be around the same area. I'm glad they didn't let Joe Ingles leave. I want to see Joe Ingles win a championship, but I don't want to see the Jazz win one, so I don't really know where I stand.
But they improved defensively, so that's good.
Yeah, it'll be good to watch. Next season is just going to be unreal to watch anyway. I still don't like watching Jazz basketball though. I don't like the way they play. I don't like many of their players. I don't like Gobert, and I don't like Donovan Mitchell. I don't like them. But I do like Joe Ingles, and to be honest, I enjoyed watching him defend Paul George when Paul George was at OKC because it was just fun to watch. But
it's always entertaining when those two play.
The next team is the Wizards. They haven't really they've obviously made the trades for Westbrook and everything. I don't know if is it confirmed yet that they brought in Dinwiddie. I think it turned into a 5-team trade.
Yeah, it turned into a bigger trade than you expected because it obviously started with the Westbrook trade. That's where it pretty much all started. So
it just got bigger and bigger. But I mean, I like Dinwiddie. I think some people forget how good he actually was before his injury. I think the Wizards it might be a stretch, but I think they're going to get the 10th seed. I think they'll get a play in, maybe, depending on
Yeah.
Beal.
Oh, and also bringing back Raul Neto. So that's pretty much.
How much help does he need, honestly? Like, you got Beal, you got Kuzma just building around Raul Neto. It's just unfair to the league. These super teams need to stop, to be honest.
Mm.
Wizards winning it this year.
Wizards in 4.
The two teams we've obviously left to last is our teams, OKC and the Knicks. I'll go first because there's a bit to talk about with the Knicks. OKC signing SGA to the max, 174, 5 years, 174 mil. I don't think it kicks in for another 2 years because I think he's got a couple of years left on his current deal. So that's good, but I think it can rise to 207 million if he makes an all NBA appearance. So I don't think there's much incentives for the All-Star game. I could be wrong, but I think everyone knew that SGA will building around SGA. The rumors of him being traded on draft day. I don't think OKC would have offered pick 6 and SGA for pick 1 or even pick 3. I think that's a bit ridiculous, but I think everyone around knew that SGA was going to stay and we're going to try and at least get him on a max contract. And as soon as he could sign it, he did. We re-signed OKC fan favorite Mike Muscala. How can you not like the Moose?
The Moose.
The big Moose. And something I've been trying to wrap my head around is Kemba's buyout. Now, before he got bought out, it wasn't a great deal of rumors, but there was rumors about maybe sending him, some players like Kenrich Williams and something like that to Dallas and trying to get Porzingis just to get them off the Porzingis contract. And obviously, I don't think the Mavs would have done that. But if we got KP, I think it would have fit OKC's system well. Although we don't have many bigs, he can shoot the 3 and we shoot a lot of 3s. And he's a defensive anchor for the team. But that's all in the past because we can't get him because we decided to buy out Kemba for his 2-year, 74 million contract, I think it was. But it's a head scratcher, but obviously that means the Knicks can get him for pennies now.
Yeah.
Let you go with the Knicks.
Potential talks of a 2-year, $16 million deal for Kemba Walker.
That's a bargain.
That's a bargain nowadays. Obviously, his knees last season, yeah, he didn't look that great in Boston, but this is a guy who can create shots off the dribble, some that the Knicks need at the point guard spot. Also brings in the fluidity on offense, which is what I like, instead of just having Randall sit in the post and maybe pass out in that to a spot. We don't have any spot up shooters, so yeah, I reckon it's good for someone like Kemba to come in and help the team out. And obviously now re-signed D Rose. I think it's going to be a restructured deal, 3 years, 43 million with the early bird rights, which I like off the bench or maybe even starting. It's going to show that Kemba won't have to play as many minutes, which is good because last year when he came into the team, he helped out the young guys in Emmanuel quickly. Obviously RJ, Obi Toppin, so that's good. Re-signing Nerlens Noel, I like that. He came in, did the what the hell? Did the job well.
The John Wall.
He did the job well last. Yep, I'm just gonna stop talking. He did well last year for Mitchell Robinson when he got injured. And obviously the Taj Mahal.
OKC legend again.
Yeah. The Taj Mahal is back. Taj Gibson with a 1-year veterans minimum. I think it was 2.7 million in that range.
I like Taj. He just brings it.
I think it's a good veteran presence to have for the team. You know, you got to have those locker room guys in there.
Obviously, Tibbs would like him from the Bulls days as well.
Yeah, and I think on the Wolves as well when he was there. Another one, Alec Burks, re-signing him for a 3-year, $30 million. If you saw him in the playoffs, especially the first game, where he was just hitting everything. So it was good to see that. But him off the bench also is going to provide us with a great scoring option there. And lastly, last night, Julius Randle signed a 4-year, $117 million extension to the Knicks, which I think is
Deserved.
amazing because I didn't expect him to stay. I was having a bit of doubts that he was actually going to stay. So for him to do that is amazing. I think last year obviously deserved it. The way he played, I think there's some incentives there. I think it's like all NBA, all star, and I think defensive team, which is a random one.
He won't get that. He just needs
I
to
mean,
start dribbling with his right hand.
yeah, exactly. Got a lot of lefties.
Yeah, him and RJ need to work out what they're doing with their right hand, to be honest.
Well, RJ he is a bit of an ambidextrous scorer, so he can finish well with his right hand. So see how that goes.
I like most of the deals you've done there with Taj coming back as well. I mean, him and Tibbs, good connection. Reggie Bullock, obviously, big loss for you.
Yeah.
Fournier, interesting. I'm intrigued. I like Fournier. The deal is interesting, but
a lot of these I think all of these deals are team options on the last year. So whether I think we're getting pieces together to maybe make a Lillard trade.
yeah,
Who knows? I think we've got the assets in draft picks. We've got these players there that we can move on, potentially some of our young guys as well. So I think maybe I think we're just setting up pieces to maybe get someone like Lillard. Also, speaking of trade talks, there's something going around in the atmosphere of the Knicks of potential Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, maybe a first round pick for Miles Turner, which is something I'd like to see. I think he's such a versatile player, Miles Turner. So I think bringing him in would be great for the team.
I think the Knicks will. I think the changes they've made, depending on Kemba's health and everything, I think they can make it out of the first round now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they won't get top 4 again this year. I don't think you can have Randall and RJ Barrett leading minutes played again this season because they'll just get injured. But
yeah,
I think they'll be in that 5 to 8 range. I think they'll probably get 5 or 6. I hope they do, for your sake.
Yeah.
Because I already know OKC aren't going to be that competitive. Hopefully, 25 wins plus. But I like their chances of making it out of the first round this year.
Yeah.
A good series. I'd tell you what, a good series I'd like to watch. First round, obviously not Hawks and Knicks, but it would be the Knicks versus the Heat. I'd like to see that series. It would be.
I thought you were going to say something like Knicks versus the Nets or something. I reckon that'd be an unreal series.
Now that would be an unreal series, but I think we all know the Nets would eventually win.
Yeah, I just think the environment though.
That would be unreal. MSG would be going off, and then even when they're playing in Brooklyn, the Knicks fans probably just overtake the Nets fans.
Are there any Nets fans?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're all casuals, just like LeBron fans. They'll get a bit of heat. Some notable transactions I have got down is Zach Collins Spurs 3-year deal. I think he was expecting a big deal, but then he got injured and his value is just decreased. It's not a big 3-year deal, but
it's 22 million, I think.
I think Gary Trent Jr. to Raptors for 3 years. He was linked at one stage with the Knicks, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. It's a good deal for him. He's only 22 years old. He shot well last season. I think he got 15 points, 3 rebounds. He's got a good ceiling above him. So, I think that's a great move for them. Obviously, losing Larry, they haven't got much to go. And another transaction, which I love, Sam Decker returns to the NBA. Cavs legend, Houston legend, Sam Decker returns. Bring back Monte Eunice, please. Just bring him back.
Jesus. And I thought you were going to say the next one that I had in my list, which was Jock Landale to the Spurs for 2
Yes.
years. Now,
Yes.
I think that's why we lost yesterday, because he knew if he beat Pop's team, he was getting his contract tore up in front of him. But he deserves it. Aussie icon, new Aussie icon. He's not Aaron Baines, but I mean, maybe
The last time a Spur had an the
a big
last
Aussie
time the
centre.
Spurs had an Aussie centre, they won the title.
Yeah,
So
maybe they'll bring back Aaron Baines too. Imagine the screens, the physical tone setters from them two, just big beefy
oh god.
blokes, and then get Steven Adams across there too. They're all the notable ones I have. Do you have any ones that you wanted to talk about other than the ones that we have?
Mo Wagner joining the Magic. He's going to join his brother Franz, which I think pretty cool. Two brothers linking up. I think that's awesome. What else we got? Yeah, not much really.
Pistons 37 mil for 3 years for Kelly Olynyk. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I think Kelly Olynyk played really well in Houston, averaging 19, 8 and 4.
I think the Pistons are better off not offering it that much, though. I don't think the Pistons need to give away money like that, personally. But
I mean, who's going to want to play for Detroit, though? No one's going to want to go to Detroit.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you don't sign Olynyk this year, you don't offer him that much money, and Cade Cunningham carries the Pistons or whatever to maybe a play-in, maybe it's a bit more of an option for players. But obviously, you're probably right. No one wants to go to Detroit. And I say that as an OKC fan, that's saying something. And this isn't a done deal, but heavy links for Larry Markkinen to go to Charlotte. Yes. I love Charlotte's team. I've never been a big LaMelo Ball fan. I'm more of a Gordon Hayward fan, but I really like that Charlotte team now.
They've got a lot of depth in the youth area. They've got a lot of young players. They drafted a lot of players previously. Oh, and I think they're interested in Kelly Oubre as well. So
I think I've completely forgot that Terry Rozier is on that team. I was just thinking LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward are your ball handlers. And then I'm like, oh, Rozier's there still, isn't he?
Terry, two beauties.
Terry.
I like the way Hornets are going. I think we're bringing in LiAngelo Ball for their summer league team, so that should be interesting. We'll see how he plays.
Yeah,
maybe he can get an NBA contract.
I mean, I hope he does, but I can't see him playing that well.
Maybe he can be in the summer G League for sure.
I hope he's the funniest of the Ball families, or the Ball brothers at least.
Yeah,
I mean, probably not the best player, but he's just a funny person, and maybe OKC Blue will take him on.
Again.
Actually, we probably won't. We're going to have a stacked OKC Blue with all the players that we're going to be sending down there. I forgot to even talk about some of the rookies we have in Robson Earl and that, but I mean, that can all come at a later stage once the season starts. Because
especially got summer league next week also.
Yeah, I mean, get on Giddy for rookie of the year now, I guess, before his value goes down to $2.50 for it. Just going to be getting triple doubles. I mean, we've got no center, so we've got Derek Favors. I don't think he'll play much, but I mean,
you got Robson Earl also.
I think he'll come off the bench. I can't wait to see him play. I'm really intrigued by him. I've been watching a bit of his highlights and stuff. So I think that's everything covered for free agency so far, at least.
I don't see anything spectacular happen. Oh, Kawhi Leonard, is he staying at the Clippers?
He'll stay.
Yeah.
It's just whether he wants to go 1 year and then sign like a 5 year, I think it is max next year, or if he just wants to take the money now and be secure and sign a 4 year deal. I mean, he gets more money if he signs a 1 year deal this year, but
he loves waiting. I think last time when he was at the Clippers, it took him 2 weeks, for him to sign something.
For someone that's not out there, he's very all about me kind of attitude with off season.
He hasn't got a big of a personality. It's just basketball with him, and that's it. So that's all you see.
Very money savvy as well. So, well, that's all for the free agency. And I guess, well, now it's that time of the week everyone loves. Slugs. Horsey tips. Now, we've made a few changes. I'll get to that. So first, his first tip is race 7, number 7 at Flemington. Hosier. I hope I'm saying that right. His second pick is race 7, number 11 at Doomben. So Clever. And we're not calling it the roughie anymore. It's going to be his each way of the day. So it's not technically a roughie, but it's an outsider at least. So his each way of the day, race 10, number 3 at Randwick, hand spun. So hopefully he can get back on the winning side of things this week, because I think it's been a tough few weeks for Big Slug. But look, I don't know what to say about that really. So we'll go on to the footy. There's always a weird transition from the Slugs horsey tips to the footy. We've been going for about an hour now, so I think we'll just get our tips. We won't really talk about who's in and who's out. Geelong Giants, who you got, Sharpie?
Geelong.
Yep, Geelong for me too. Carlton Suns.
Carlton.
I'm going to go with the Suns in an upset. Richmond North. Now, I know we didn't say I was going to talk about it, but Maurice Rioli making a debut. He deserves it, and I can't wait to watch him play. And I hate watching Richmond play right now because we just choke leads, but I'm going Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond as well.
Hopefully, Lockie does not get his North Melbourne. If North Melbourne win, I'm not going to hear the end of it. So, Lockie, just don't. If you win, just don't talk to me.
Shout out to Lockie.
Yeah, if he gets to this point of the podcast.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide. Adelaide.
Yeah.
Jeez. No Tex Walker, by the way. He's
okay, Port. Yeah, Port.
Racial slurs. He's got a 6-week ban, and rightfully so.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. He deserves to, because I think he was in the Coleman medal chase even, but he doesn't deserve to win it, to be honest. St Kilda versus Swans.
Swans.
At Marvel Stadium, by the way. I'm just thought I'd throw that out there. I think the Saints can come back here. Throwing a few outsiders now. Hawks, Collingwood. No Luke Bruce. He injured himself last week.
I reckon Collingwood. I reckon it would be a really good game.
Yeah.
A really good game.
I think Collingwood too, though. I
Maybe
agree.
not, because they got Mason Cox back in, but who knows?
Yeah, God, who enjoys watching him? Only plays one good game in his career. Bulldogs, Essendon.
Bulldogs, obviously.
Yeah, I love watching Essendon, and I hope they make finals. But yeah, I think it's Bulldogs. Freo, Brisbane. In Perth.
I'll probably go Freo.
I'll go
Brisbane have got Lockie Neal out, so
I'll go Brisbane just because I think they need to come back from last weekend's disappointment. And the last one, West Coast versus Melbourne in West Coast. Now, I think I saw something. Melbourne haven't beaten West Coast over there for a few years now. I could be wrong. But who have you got there?
I got Melbourne this one.
I'll probably tip Melbourne, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to go Melbourne, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles somehow pull out a win, especially after losing to Collingwood last week. That was deplorable, but that's a big word for me.
Anything over 3 syllables is probably big for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I keep it short and sharp. Oh, sharp. Anyway.
Stop talking.
I think we've reached around about an hour. I think that's a good time to leave it at. Thank you again for joining us, Sharpie, as always.
Yeah, no worries.
big free agency week, and hopefully OKC makes some moves. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.